and we're ready to go in the World Championship final. This is Harley on serve for Brazil. Whacks it with his left hand, the reception from Brink. And it's Brink who fires home for the first point, hitting it hard. And that's a big hammer, a mallet in fact, that comes out.
You know, what's amazing to me, he came right out and he challenged the big block of Alison by making a big hit. Now, he's not going to do that every time. He knows he's not going to get away with it, but showing them that he could hit by the big block was very important to start off.
Well, just lets the Brazilians know that they're in a real match here. This is Brink. Onto the reception of Harley. And he hit this with his left hand and hits hard down the line. 89.5 kilometers per hour the serve. No problem though for Harley, who as usual plays up to that crowd.
Yet left-handed Harley is going to be difficult for anybody. You don't see many left-handers out here, so you can't get used to them, and it's very difficult to see where they're hitting.
Well, he hit round well across the block there. This is Alison for the first time on serve. Reckermann block, and it's well dug out by Harley, but who fails with the roll shot, and it means it's 2-1.
Well, that was a huge hit by Reckermann, but Harley was able to handle it, cradled it in his body, got the ball up. Not a great set, but still, he had an opportunity to put it in play, and he missed it, just missed it down the line.
They had space too behind where Reckermann was. They played the cross-court defense. Means they're 2-1 up though. Reckermann to run to the line. Here he goes. And it's straight into the net to 89.9 kilometers per hour. It doesn't matter though. They got it 2-2 and Brazil have the side out.
Well, you're going to find that everybody's going to go for their serves in the very beginning just to see how they feel. If they get it in and they get their confidence with their serve, they can be very dangerous the rest of the match.
This is one man who can be very dangerous in all facets of play. This is Harley Marques Silva with the jump serve. Reckermann hits it though, and it shows real class to find the sand right down the line.
Well, you know, they're serving at the big guy, Reckermann, and you know, that can be good. Maybe you can tire him out because he's going to be blocking every single time, so he's running back and forth to the net. But right now, he's conserving energy, went up and just placed that ball with great finesse down over the block and on the line.
Of course, had to play an extra set too this morning, the Germans, in their match. Wow, that's lovely from Harley. From one piece of class to another piece of class down the line.
Well, that's what he wanted to do the other time. This time he made no mistake. He kept it well inside the court, and that's a great shot.
Great shot indeed. Brings his partner Alison to the service line. Again, looks like he's going to have a real go at this one before fooling us. Reckermann's there to hit it. Touch on the block, and the point going to the Germans.
That's very interesting. That set was very close to the net. Alison was right on top of it, but all Reckermann could do was hit it high, right off the hands of the block, and then Harley couldn't get to it.
Harley couldn't get to it. That means it's 4-3. Tentative exchanges between both teams so far. Nobody able to open up an early gap. Reckermann, though, will be trying to change all that. Here comes the 30-year-old who now lives in Cologne. And he's caused all sorts of problems with the serve there. Bit of husband and wife serve, both going for it.
Well, it was a big jump serve, and it hit the top of the net, which changed the direction of the serve, and Alison wasn't able to control it. Once it hit the net, it moved a little bit out of his reach.
Out of his reach it went, and we go to 5-3 then. Germans with the first advantage in this match. Reckermann, though, serves long this time. There's a low 5 from the Brazilians. They have the side out without having to work for it.
Yeah, they got a big break there. You know what? You have a team in trouble. They make a bad pass. You got to keep that next serve in the court because the pressure is on them. They just took the pressure off of them. Now let's see what the Brazilians do.
Here we go then. Harley once more. Straight down the center of the court. Going to go left-handed as usual. The reply from Brink is repelled by Alison at the net. Strong arms.
You know, that set was, again, just a little bit too close. with big Harley up and over the net, there was really not much room for Brink to deal with to get around that block.
Well, he enjoyed it too, didn't he? Very emotive on court, these two. Always looking to play to the crowd, the Brazilians. Good serve from Harley. Well dealt with, though, by Reckermann, who's going to have a hit down the line, and he manages it too. Lovely roll shot, and he's playing well in these first few points of this World Championship final.
Great control, great finesse by the big guy from Germany. Able to look at the court, see where the open court is, and go over the huge block of Alison.
And it is a huge block too. All 2 meters 2 centimeters, or 6'8" if you're working imperial of him. The bump set from Alison and hammered down the middle by Alison Silva.
Well, Brink made a good move coming back over to the line, but the ball was just hit so hard by Harley, he couldn't control it. Look at that, just blast that ball. Brink's lucky he got his hands up. It might have hit him right in the face and knocked him out.
Real power and pace there from Harley. Here comes Alison. Oh, well dug out by Harley. He's going to have another go at this. The pokey with the right hand. Well kept out by Brink. But it's Brink's venomous shot that does it in the end.
Well, that rally started because a little bit of a close set by the Germans, forcing them just to keep it in play. But what a great diving dig by Brink. And then the hammer that they couldn't control. This is the way they finish it, right off the tape. Bounces in the other direction. Harley can't control it.
Well, Harley would say he was happy to keep his feet on the ground this morning and not let the nerves get to him. Going to have to do here because it's not going their way at all, not going anybody's way really. Still very tight. Top blocking by the Reckermann.
Well, that's what we saw from Reckermann in the semifinals, up, over, high, and roofing that ball. That's what he's got to do if he wants to stay on top of this Brazilian team.
Well, respect to those tactics in the semi-final. Do they need to change it much against this Brazilian team, or is it much of the same needed?
Well, if they can do what they did well, which was side out very well, Reckermann put pressure on the block, and if they can serve, if they serve better than they did in the semifinals, they may even have a better chance here.
Well, they've got a good chance with that serve, but just got a bit lucky, and Alison Silva ends up face down in the sand.
You know, that short serve by Reckermann is the best short serve on tour for sure. It barely clears the net. That passer has to move all the way up to the net and then has to back up to get a good approach. That time, he couldn't even get the pass because it bounced off the net and he couldn't control it.
And he had to touch it too. It's landing right on the line, that serve. Here he goes again. Short pass. Harley comes in. But in the end, it's Alison that comes up with the goods. Brazil back to within 2 points. An important side out.
Well, you're going to see that, I think, quite a bit throughout this game. If Reckermann's serving the ball, particularly short and easy like that, then Harley's going to try to put it up on one so that his partner can get up and smack it down before Reckermann can get to the net.
Oh, Reckermann not able to get there on that occasion. Harley looking to cause some strife here in the German reception. But he gets it all wrong, does the Brazilian?
Yeah, that toss, he threw it too far out in front of him and wasn't able to get to it. Just didn't get enough hand on the ball to get it over the net.
It's funny because his serving action also came under scrutiny in the first semi-final when he was nearly called for a couple of foot faults, maybe in the back of his mind.
Yeah, it's the finals of the World Championships. It's everything changes here.
All about pressure, of course, too, and coping with it. Wow, how about that for a serve from Julius Brink? Top stuff.
91 kilometers to the middle of the court, a very difficult ball to pass. Alison doesn't like it. He reaches out, it's just coming too fast and he can't get enough on it.
Again, bit of confusion, and it's forced Brazil into a timeout. Reckermann Brink getting the tactics perfect in the semi-finals we discussed earlier, and perfect it seems so far. These two have work to do.
Well, you know, a tough serve will destroy any team. If a team can't get a good pass and a good set, they're not going to be able to put the ball away. And if he can serve that tough where they can't even pass it to their partner, then it could be lights out.
Could be lights out. And the Brazilians not used to defeat. I can tell you they have an outstanding 29-2 Swatch FIVB record this year. Well, the Hawaiian skirts and megaphones girls, as we've seen all week, missed away. The president of the FIVB is also enjoying the festivities with his wife. Come all the way to attend this blue ribboned event in the world of beach volleyball. The top of the elite, of course. This is the best event in the world. You say there's prize money, more important even in the Olympic Games here.
You know, the World Championships only happens every other year, and of course not in the Olympic year. So this is a big, big event everybody prepares for 2 years in advance. You've got to play on the World Tour. You've got to get your points to qualify. You've got to do well on the World Tour to get here. All the continents in the world are here.
They're all here, but we've just 2 left. It's Europe and South America fighting it out for the World Championship title. Brazil and Germany. Harley just been dug out there by Brink, and Reckermann turns it into attack straight away. He may have that right shoulder strapped up. No problem there, though.
You know, the Germans are just playing well. They get a good touch on the block. Brink is right there, puts it up for Reckermann. He makes a great hit. I mean, the ball coming from directly behind him and still being able to hit it, that's an incredible play right there.
Incredible play. We're talking about the Brazilians, Mark. The Germans isn't bad either. 15-2 on the Euro Tour, 22-6 in Swatch volleyball. And the reply from Harley is a very, very needed one from Brazil. It was aggressive, it needed to be. They're still 4 points down, but they have the side out now.
Yeah, Harley just went up and hit that as hard as he could. High and cross court, landed deep in the court. It's almost an impossible ball to dig, even if you're kind of in the right area. It's just very difficult when you hit it that hard, that deep in the court.
This is Alison now then. Brazil 4 points inferior here on the scoreboard. And they just got another. Reckermann thinking it might be in, asking the question, but at the side change, or the technical timeout rather, 3 points the difference. Brazil with a bit of momentum on the last couple of points.
And this is definitely a game of momentum. One team, something good happens, usually something else happens after a little while, and they got to keep it going as long as they can to score as many points as they can, because at some point they're going to lose that momentum and it's going to go back to the other team.
Of course, it's going to go back to the other team. And this time, it's Brazil that have the momentum. But they have to be careful, as you say. We look at some of the best action here from the first set. Low fives coming on from Brazil, but they want to be doing it a bit more often here. Oh, they've got some, let's say, well-dressed support in the crowd.
Well-dressed, what is that?
I'm not sure, look more Egyptian than Brazilian to me. So everybody enjoying the festivities. And, of course, all ready to see new world champions crowned. So clapping along to the musical interlude rather, as the teams reappear. This is a vital period in this match. Alison's on serve. And Brazil just could do with grabbing a couple of points back now. Alison, we go. Here's Brink. Set up for Reckermann, who hammers cross court, but flies wide. And it's Brazil who have the point again. 3 in a row for them. Back to within 2. Another set up for Reckermann. Hit it hard, hit it cross court, but just too far. And it brings Alison on to serve again. Reckermann with the reception. Gonna have a go at spiking it once more. Well dug out by Harley though. And it's Harley that comes up with the quality. Wow, they've really turned it on, and they're living strong, of course. Really turning it on now, Brazil. Germany do not know what's hit them. The timeout working perfectly. And out of your screen, I can tell you that Harley is really working the crowd. So time for Alison to try and level up here for Brazil. What a run of momentum this is. And it was set for Reckermann. The blocking of Alison strong, but it's a little too strong there. Ball landing up beyond the line, and Brazil's a brief scoring run that's got them back into this set ends. So back to within 2.
Reckermann was almost looked like he wanted to play that, but I think he was just putting on a show for the crowd.
Both teams trying to play up to the crowd. We saw then the Brazilians enjoying that scoring run that brought them from 5 down back to within 2. Receiving to be done though, and it's the net serve as Reckermann just has a wry smile at Harley there. He knows he got a bit lucky.
But you know what? There still was plenty of time for Harley to get to that ball, but he's sitting back. He's waiting for something different. You've got to be prepared for the ball to hit the net, because if he's leaning forward, he can get to that ball fairly easily.
He's waiting for the power ball there. The FIVB's most outstanding player of last season, of course, won the tournament title with Pedro Salgado, who's now playing with another Pedro, Cunha. Set from Harley this time for Alison, blocking though. It's gone out of play, point to Brazil. They get a big side out.
Well, that wasn't a plan, but that hit went right off the head of Reckermann. He's lucky it didn't catch him in the face. It's usually Phil Dalhouser that gets the ball in the face because he gets his head so far over the net. But Reckermann, big blocker, also gets his head above the net.
Well, I wouldn't fancy being on the end of one of those spikes from Alison. Take your head off, I think. Well dug out by Brink. And Brink is there to fire home. He swatted that down nonchalantly.
What a great hit by Brink. He goes up, comes to the middle of the court. Alison is right there, and he turns it back across his body down the line for the winner.
The winner it was, and a few more winners. We'll see Germany home in this first set. 15-12 up. Big, big few points coming up now. Could set the tone for this World Championship final. And that is certainly a very big moment. Miscontrol the reception by Alison. It would just hit well and very hard at him.
Well, 92 kilometers, you know, that's going to be tough to pass. If it's coming straight at you, it's not really a problem. But when it's coming to the side, it makes it very, very difficult to get your arms up in time to make the good pass towards the net.
And no pass made. As Brink takes the ball once more, looking to cause more problems in this Brazilian defensive formation. Harley and Alison under real pressure here. They've not found themselves under that pressure throughout most of the season. They've been cleaning up. But they have to turn this round if they're to become world champions. Oh, poor line girl got one there.
Well, Brink was really feeling it. He thought, hey, I hit the last one really hard. Let's see if I can hit this one harder. But he lost control and he hit it out of bounds. He's got to be able to take advantage. They have the momentum. They score a point on a good serve. They got to keep the next one in the court.
It's all about making Brazil play as Brazil make Germany and force them to leave that. It was an easy decision to take, you feel, too. Well out.
Hey, Alison right there, I think he was kind of upset that he got burned on a tough serve, so he's going, I'm going to give it right back to him, and then he misses it.
That's all that energy. He was in the shop in town just a couple of hours ago after the last match, buying up and cashing in on chocolate and ice cream for energy for this final.
Just a little line adjustment.
Well, the line judge is sorting the court out, and we're ready to go again, says Darryl Friesen, our Canadian match referee. This is Jonas Reckermann. That one, of course, straight at Harley, allowing him to pass. Well kept in by Brink. Here he goes. And he finds the sand beautifully. 70, 18, 13 now. And that is a big advantage to pull out now for Brazil.
Well, big dig by Brinkman, but we know that he has this tremendous cut shot from the left side. He's facing straight away, and he turns it and cuts it very, very sharp to the net. Looks like he's going to hit the ball hard to the middle of the court, and then he turns it cross court.
Turning it cross court to take them to within 3 of a magical one-set lead, and one that would put them well within reach of the gold medal. But again, Reckermann just hits long.
102 kilometers an hour. That is smoke right there. Not many people hit the ball that hard, but like you said earlier, it doesn't do any good unless it's in the court.
Well, there's been some big serving. That's level, in fact, with the fastest recorded serve in this season from Igor Kulodinsky. He's the man as well that holds the world record, 114 kilometers per hour in Italy last year. Reckermann finding the sand and causing yet more problems for Brazil. All about the second set now, you feel, for the South Americans.
That's a great shot by Reckermann. I'm going to go back and talk about Igor. I've seen Igor serve over 110 kilometers, and it is so fast. You cannot pass it, even if you're in the right position. It is so fast.
Well, again, speed may be the issue here. It's Julius Brink. Goes for placement. Well dug out by Alison. Has a chance at the net. Finds the sand well. Important for him to be able to make a spike.
Well, if Alison's able to hit the cross court that sharp and that hard, there's very little chance of anybody picking that ball up. I mean, he buries that thing. Look at it. He has a good approach, an angled approach, buries it at the feet of Brink.
He was confident enough to take on the cross-court defense as well. He's a very, very confident young man. A lot of faith in his ability as Reckermann fires down beyond Harley. The point given in, and we're up to set point now.
That's a great hit, almost takes Harley's head off. And right after that hit, Alison ran over to the bench. I think he thought the game was over. So now this is a free chance for him to come back.
Here's set point then. This is Jonas Reckermann to give the first set in the World Championship final to Germany. Takes a run at it. And it's just missing the line. Not much in that one.
Again, over 100 kilometers. Everybody's putting everything they got into that serve. They want to score points easy. But you can't make mistakes too many times and still win.
Well, he made a few mistakes on serve, but Brazil not able to combat that or come back or use it to their advantage so far. 4 set points here to defend. Harley Marquez Silva attempts the first. Reception from Reckermann. And it's he who almost ended the first set. But in the end, there it is. 1 set to love in favor of the German team.
God, what a great dig by Harley. The set's just a little bit outside. He hits it off the antenna to give the last point to the Germans, so they take the first set. And that's a great game. I expect another great game. The Germans got to realize that this second set is going to be more difficult than the first if they're going to win, because the Brazilians have got to be very, very upset they lost that first one. They're going to come back with a vengeance.
Well, Harley and Alison know all about beating these. They've been it 3 times already on the tour this season. I go through the results. First in Shanghai, 3 sets win. Then we went to Rome, where in fact Brink and Reckermann won the tournament, but they were still beaten by Alison and Harley. Straight sets win. In Poland, in Myslovice, a straight sets win. So the Germans are really up against it. Don't bet against Harley and Alison coming back here.
But it tells you the Germans made it here. They made it to the finals. They did it by beating the gold medalists. They're capable of beating anybody. Right now, it doesn't matter who has a perceived advantage. They're in the finals of the World Championships. It's anybody's game.
Anybody's game. The crowd know that. Look at that board stand. 3,000 people it holds. Took them around 20 days to set it up after the board was brought in by boat to Stavanger, and just adding to this very colourful atmosphere here in southwest Norway.
That whole stand on the other side of the court with all those thousands of people is sitting on the water.
It's bouncing up and down, you can see it too.
It comes up and down with the tide. It raises and lowers, but that's the only way they could get a stadium of this size in this area, is to put it on the barge in the water.
So 8,000 people ready for the start of set 2. And it's Alison, first blood.
He got a nice high set in front of him. That's what he likes. He's a big guy. He needs a big run-up to get his big jump, and then he hammers it cross court.
Certainly did hammer across court. Let's have another look.
It's outside the angle and just beats that ball.
Well, the anger of losing that first set taken out on the poor Mikasa there. But the follow-up from Harley is straight into the net.
Well, Harley wants to make up for some of those serves that were against him. He wants to hit a few hard ones and score a few points the easy way, but it isn't that easy.
Not easy at all. And here they're going to have some receiving to do. Reckermann now to run to the line. Harley goes in two and goes very, very well indeed. Had a nice run at it and hit it very, very hard again.
Well, there you go. Reckermann never had a chance to get up to the net and block because the hit came on the second contact right there. Look at Reckermann. He was just a step or two away from the net, and Harley was in the air and destroyed it.
Certainly did destroy it. Killed that ball with excellent efficiency. Block from Alison, but he's beaten the second time by a very strong Jonas Reckermann.
I'll tell you what, that hurts. If you're Alison, that really hurts. You make a good block at the net, it goes up, and Reckermann blocks you back. That hurts a lot.
He's going to have to come back and be a big boy here, Alison. First World Championships appearance, of course, and this is a big match to be thrown into at 23 years of age. The biggest of them all, of course. As Harley makes the pass and then tries to make the cross-court smash and turns to the crowd in delight.
You know, for a left-hander on the right side of the court to make a straight-on approach like he did and then turn radically to hit that ball away from your body cross-court, very difficult hit to make, very hard for the blocker to see what he was doing. A fantastic play by Harley.
He's plenty of experience as Harley. 12th season. This is his 99th tournament. Reckermann, though, this time, as Alison gets his own back.
Well, they planned it very well. Alison knew from the very beginning that he was going to go after the angle of Reckermann. He reaches up and over and turns that ball into the court for the straight down block, and he is excited.
They got some serious hang time as well there, did Alison. That takes it to a 2-point difference. Brazil edging ahead early in set two. They need to do two. They want that gold. Alison and Harley working hard to keep them in the play. They found the magic touch. Whatever they did during that turnaround from sets, definitely working for them.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got to be very, very careful. If this Brazilian team catches fire, I don't know if you can stop them. One big block by Alison and then a great dig and a put away by Harley. I think they got the momentum now.
They certainly do. They certainly got a lot of the crowd with them too. A lot of yellow and green around, lots of nice colors. And it's all making for a fascinating spectacle.
Ooh. Alison was there. He knew the ball was going to be hit, but his hands were turned the wrong way, so the ball rebounds off his hands and out of bounds. And you look at it, they look at each other like, you know, there's something going on, but the reality is they gave each other 5. Everything's okay.
Everything is okay. And it's much better for the Germans now. They have the side out. 3-5. This is Reckermann. Harley hits it again, it's on. Harley is on fire now.
Well, that was a tremendous hit. That set was well off the net, maybe 2 meters off the net. He gets up high and whips that ball. There's no way Brink is going to dig that one. That ball was just coming too fast, too hard to control.
He's a great character too, Harley. Been praising everything under the sun, and there's been a lot of sun too here in Stavanger. Organisation, we're talking a lot about the weather gods too. Said it was like playing in Brazil itself. Wow, that is calm, and it's very efficient from Jonas Reckermann.
Well, I'll tell you what, that it had to be a great shot to go down because Harley was moving in the right direction. Anywhere other than right on the line, Harley would have had that ball. Look at that, right next to the line, but Harley was very close to getting it.
Well, not far off at all. And Germany now aren't far off Brazil. They're 2 points behind. It's 4-6. Julius Brink now from the service line. With that sock on his left ankle, of course. Harley with a pokey, well kept up. Whacked cross court, but whacked long by Julius Brink. Point for Brazil.
Well, it started with a close set by the Brazilians. They had to keep it in play, but then a set for Brink. Brink has a chance right here. He knows Alison's right there, but Alison drops his hands. Brink thought he was going to be able to hit that ball off of Alison's hands, but all of a sudden, they disappeared. A very smart play by Alison to get out of the way of that ball.
Alison did get that big frame of his out of the way. Luckily for Germany, Brink was in the way of this one, but so was Alison for Brazil. Now they're 4 ahead, and they're on a real roll.
Well, Alison got burned by this exact hit earlier on, but this time he reaches back into the line, and Brink cannot slip it by him down the line.
Well, it's forced Germany to call a timeout. Bit of time for reflection for Brink and Reckermann, as they suddenly find themselves in trouble for the first time in the match.
Big trouble, too. Although it's still early in the match, things can happen. You know, they've given up the momentum, and they're trying to stop that momentum right now. Slow down Brazil. Let the crowd calm down. It sounds like the crowd is rooting for the Brazilian, so they want everyone just to relax a little bit so that they can come back out and go hard at them.
Clever tactic from Germany, and a tactic that more often than not does seem to work in these beach volleyball duels. There's a few fans of the local soccer team are into Viking Stavanger in the middle of their domestic season. The new strong man, there he is. He'll be following the Tour de France, no doubt, later on too. And the green team, there they go. They've been dancing away for 10 days or so. Our swordfish mascot, starfish mascot rather. And it's all making for a super atmosphere. What a party at the World Championship final.
And you know what? The party doesn't stop here in Stavanger after the volleyball match. The party goes all night long. It barely gets dark here. The sun is up most of the time, most of the day. And I'll tell you what, the people, I don't think they go to sleep here.
I think they sleep all winter, hibernate perhaps. And then in summer, everybody comes out to play. Certainly been that way throughout this festival. Many people from other sections of Norwegian sport have been here too. As we're back to the beach volleyball. And Germany are back on song.
Well, that's a play they use very effectively against the Americans, the quick set. But that time, Reckermann almost didn't get to the ball. He really had to torque his arm and his body to make a controlled hit out of this. But it's successful because Alison can't get his hands all the way to the ball, and he gets used.
Well, apt a description of the proceedings there. It's Germany trying to go short, but it's Alison who uses that one himself to great effect.
Well, again, they've got Reckermann serving, and he has to run up to the net. The pass up quickly, and Alison takes full. Look at this. Doesn't even wait. Takes full swing at that ball and hammers it.
Well, the hammer brought out and used excellently by Alison Cerruti. The 23-year-old from Vitoria in his 23rd tournament, already 6 career wins on the Swartz Tour. But that's a super way to come back. He's played that shot beautifully all afternoon.
You know, and it's not an easy shot. You got to get it at exactly the right height so it clears the block of Alison, and then not too high because Harley's waiting for that shot too. If it's too high, Harley's going to take a couple steps over and pop that up.
It's brought Julius Brink to the service line. The shorter in this combination. But he's got plenty of sting in the tail when he gets it going and cranks that speedometer up. Here he comes, hits it hard, touch off the net. Well dealt with by Harley. And well finished off too. This is the very best of the veteran Brazilian that we're seeing now.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know how he keeps hitting that ball and doesn't destroy his shoulder, because he looks like he's hitting it one way and he completely torques his shoulder to hit it the other way, away from his body. An incredible swing.
Well, the way he's playing, you have to feel that Pedro Salgado is going to regret dropping him at the end of last season. He, of course, is looking to the next Olympic cycle. There's Ali, it's that one in the net. Just to continue, Ali will be 39 the next time the next Olympics come round. Pedro Salgado choosing a younger partner in Pedro Cunha, but it's certainly Harley who's been taking the tour by storm once again.
That's it. Looking at Harley now, 39 is nothing. I played at 39, I felt great. He looks like he can play till he's 49.
Well, let's hope he does, because he's certainly entertaining us here. Here comes Reckermann. 3 points down, the Germans. Well recovered by Alison. And talking of good recoveries, there's Brink. And there he is once more. Top quality beach volleyball.
Well, Alison's a little bit upset. He thinks that the way Brink contacted the ball, that it was a carry, a one-handed carry. But of course, Brink is arguing with him, but Brink doesn't have to argue with them, because the referee has already decided it's a no call. It was a legal play.
Well, Daryl Friesen saw it clearly too. Had a very good view of that. Here we have a look at it ourselves.
Here it is. He barely gets to this ball. Hard to tell.
8-10 then. Reckermann again. Well, you have to say very well dug out by Alison. And has he finished it? No, he hasn't. Out is the call. No. Well, Germany were adamant that it was theirs.
Well, let's take a look. The referee thought he saw a touch. Let's see if we can see a touch. The set coming from way back, too close to the net. I don't know. What do you think? Did you see a touch?
Inconclusive, really. That is very difficult to see. And if it's difficult for us on the slow motion replay, imagine the decisions faced by the referees. So out is the call.
So there was no touch.
Extremely difficult to spot. If we can't spot it on the replay, you have to understand that referee Daryl Friesen's position there.
The best view of it could have been by the umpire down on the sand, and when he conferred with the referee, they both decided no touch.
That the decision. Germany back to within a point. Big decision it's proved to be. But that decision to go long by Reckermann was the wrong one.
Extremely bad, extremely. They just get a big break. The momentum's back on their side, and they give it right back to the Brazilians. It's a crazy thing.
Well, a huge faux pas by the German team. 2 points down again. This is the last point before the technical timeout. Let's see what sort of advantage there is. And it's a 3-point game. Brazil firmly in control halfway through set 2.
Well, they haven't used the quick set that often this match, but this time usually you set the ball with your fingers on the quick set because you have the maximum amount of control. This time he tries to bump it with his arms, a quick set. That's a completely different way of setting a quick set, much more difficult to put it where you want to put it, and plus the ball's coming from much lower, and it just so happens Alison was camped all over it, waiting for it, and he roofed that one.
Well, I don't know if there's much room for him to grow physically, but he's certainly grown in stature as the second set's gone on. He has really come into his own as Reckermann and Brink have quite a few things to think about as they take on their sugar and energy, as it may look like they're going to a third set here.
Well, I wouldn't be so quick to judge a third set, but I know they don't want to go to a third set. The third set is anybody's set. That one game to 15 points can go either way. They want to finish it right here. 3 points is not a big deficit. They can come back, but they got to be smart and they got to play the game of their lives.
All about playing the game of their lives. The crowd are having the time of their lives. A Mexican wave ringing around this 8,000-seater Bergen Stadium. What an afternoon they're having. The players, no time to think about all that. They have to concentrate on the action. Here we go. back in play with Brazil. 12-9 up, make that 12-10.
And then what happens? Alison gives it right back to him. Big mistake. It's the World Championships. You can't give it over easy to the other team. You've got to put the pressure on constantly.
Oh, with all this pressure on, Harley perhaps needs to talk his younger and least experienced teammate through a lot of these pressure situations. Brink trying to apply more pressure now. But in the end, he releases the pressure valve. 3 points again, and the side out very easily given back to Brazil. That is a gift.
You know, it's okay if one of the team members goes ahead and goes for it with the serve. Both of them can't do it, because if they're both off, they're in a lot of trouble.
Harley has the biggest number of aces in this tournament so far, 15. But his serve to no use as Germany control the rally and put the point away easily.
Well, that was an absolute hammer by Reckermann. He got the set he wanted. He went up high and hit it very hard. Alison's up high, but it goes just behind him, and Harley's moving over for the shot. He's not looking for the hit.
Reckermann serve passed by Harley, who's shaped to spike, but Reckermann was there with a stern response.
Well, Reckermann, he went ahead, he protected his line. That was his responsibility. And you can see in the background, Brink was going for the angle shot, so they had the whole court covered, and Reckermann got the block.
Reckermann did indeed get the block, as this stadium begins to rattle. Listen to this atmosphere. Harley, though, calms it right down with a delicate touch. He enjoyed that one.
Well, if we have an opportunity, you're going to see Brink make a fake to make a dig on the line. He sets up.
Perfect placement then by Harley. And look at how he celebrates. Turning to the crowd and lapping up all that adoration.
This crowd is going crazy. Of course, they get the best show in the world right here in person, the World Championship Final.
Best seat in the house, and we hope you're enjoying it too at home. Oh, what spectacle again! That is spectacular!
Little bit of a break for the Brazilians. Reckermann got his hands on the ball for the block, and then it came down on his side. Made an attempt, got it up, but it went behind Brink, wasn't able to recover. Here it is, he gets it up. Brink going the wrong direction.
He was heading towards the net, of course. After spending time in that backcourt area. Here's Alison now, 15-12 up, set 2, close to forcing that deciding set. But not if the Germans have anything to do with it. They want to close it out in 2.
Well, Reckermann took a big look. He saw that Harley was waiting angle and taking off to the line. He takes the cut shot, and look at Harley. He's going, uh-oh, I just left the right spot, going to the wrong spot.
Harley recognizing his mistake. Like the other Brazilian pair we saw yesterday, Juliana and Larissa, all very much one-way traffic there. Larissa firing verbals across to Juliana. As the crowd fire Mexican waves around this stadium again. Tell you what, our commentary booth is rattling. It's that good, the atmosphere. Brink to continue, but Brink fires that one well. The second one he's aimed at that poor line girl in the corner.
Brink, he should realize right now his jump serve is not on. He's got to keep the pressure on the Brazilians by keeping that serve in. Reckermann did a good job at taking something off his jump serve and keeping it in play.
Let's see if the serving gets any better with Harley. Goes short. And now he keeps in well. Bump set, let's see if he can fire home. The block comes his way and falls out. Point to Brazil, they're 4 away now from forcing that third set.
Harley made the right decision, and then he gets the ball up, gets a good set, and then he turns it and barely squeaks it by the block of Reckermann down the line.
But he keeps serve. Crowd already to the feet with 4 points off the end of the set. They are loving this. With Reckermann going across court, too much to do though for Harley.
I think Reckermann knew that Harley was going to be wherever he wanted to shoot it, so this time he hit it high off the top of the block, deep angle, hoping that Harley wasn't there. And Harley actually was in the right position, he just couldn't control it.
There you see Alison diving desperately. They're chasing down everything. Harley just knows he wasn't far away from controlling that. Side up nevertheless though for Germany. Reckermann from the center of the backcourt. Well, the pass not great from Alison, putting Brazil into trouble, and that allows Germany to fire down and keep the serve.
Well, Reckermann again, he's playing it smart. He's keeping his serve in the court. They can't score points unless they get the ball in the court. So he just served a normal float serve, and it was a missed pass, and they're able to score a point. He'll do the same thing again, a normal serve, keeping it in play.
He needs to do so with Brazil so close to taking it to 1-1. Well dug out by Harley. There's the set for him. And again, he does the business, concluding and putting these kills down and points down with great effect, Harley, in set 2. You see it once more.
Every play is so important now. Every point you're going to see, they're going to be very excited. 1 point at a time. They got to get through this game, the Brazilians, to get a third game.
Harley doing the business once more. Alison, though, failing to capitalize. Reckermann won that joust at the net.
Well, Reckermann he's not really going for it, but he's doing enough. He's keeping the ball in play. And there the dig. He gives him a second chance to put the ball away, and that time he does over the big Alison. He can never get his feet under him to get a good position to jump.
Well, the sheer presence of Reckermann on the other side of the net causing problems for Alison there. Brink with a couple of points to make up. Goes for the jump serve. But instead of keeping it simple, like you were saying and explaining, that Reckermann was doing so well, Brink, though, forces an unforced error.
I'm going to go down there and I'm going to have a talk with Brink right now. I'm going to tell him, hey, buddy, keep the ball in the court if you want to win. He's got to keep the ball in the court, particularly at this point in the game. Give your big partner a chance to make a block. Give yourself a chance to make a dig to score a point. Don't hit it in the net.
Well, it's such big elite stage where the margins are so fine, but it's all about keeping it simple. Harley now, he has and can afford to try something different. Very nearly gets the ace too. Good recovery though, and Alison's block. Arms angled the wrong way again, and that floats out.
I'll tell you, that's a tough position to be in right there by Brink. You know, the set's kind of close to the net. You got Alison up and over the net. All he can do is hit it into the block and hope it goes out of bounds.
Did go out of bounds. Germany back to within 2. A slim chance here. Need to make their assault on the scoreboard now, though, you feel. And Brazil 2 points away from set 2. It's so tense in the World Championship final. There's Harley miscontrols, but it's still in play. That, though, kills it straight away. Reckermann doing what he does best again, continues to put those roll shots away with great efficiency.
Well, the most important thing is he got that serve in the court. That gave him the chance. Now let's see, he's got to keep it in play here. Doesn't have to be an ace. The pressure's now on the Brazilians. Here they go, they took a timeout. They know that there's trouble. The momentum is with the Germans right now, even though they're behind.
Well, they are behind. And the Brazilians are just going to have a sit down, calm things down. Harley, perhaps a couple of words in the ear of Alison, the experience that he has. And it's time just to keep a cool head, because this is all about still having a chance of winning that gold medal, forcing the decider and putting the Germans under more pressure.
Yeah, the Brazilians are, if I were them, and I know it's Harley talking to Alison, I'd say, hey, listen, let's just play our game. Don't do anything special, but don't back off any right now. Make sure you make a tough play, make them score against us, make no errors. They just got to make no errors, and they're in pretty good shape.
They are in good shape. She's enjoying them being in good shape. Plenty of Brazilian flags hanging around here. Brazil had 3 teams in the women's Final Four. They didn't make gold. The USA, fantastic performance by Kessie and Ross yesterday. The US not making the final here. And the world champions defeated in the semis. So we're going to have a new world champion. But is it going to be Brazil of Harley and Alison or Germany of Brink and Reckermann? Stay tuned to find out. This is one of the greatest sporting spectacles that you're ever likely to see. Timeout over then. Back into the pressure cooker. Reckermann to step up to the line. Looks like he's going to have a run as well this time. Well, makes it. Confusion too for the Brazilians. Alison. Oh, and Alison trying to react instinctively at the net. Can only find the net. And look at that scoreboard now. Drawn back in it. 19-19. The Germans have a chance to close it out here.
Well, now there's an incredible amount of pressure on the Brazilians. Now they cannot afford to give up any points. The Germans know they can kind of go for it right here because they've already got 1 game under their belt. So I would expect a tough serve here.
Reckermann then back on his serving good streak. Here he goes again as the sun comes out. And he makes the ace! Making the ace to take us to match point. Who would have thought it?
You know, he had all the confidence in the world. They came back, they tied it up. They knew they couldn't lose if they gave up 1 point. So he went back and he hit it 96 kilometers an hour. Great serve right between the defenders. Unbelievable. I expect him to do the same thing. I don't think he has to serve his best serve, but here we go.
So Reckermann with the 3rd fastest serve of the tournament brings up match point. Germany serving for the world title. Alison trying to make it, but there it is! Germany are world champions. Straight sets. They beat the #1 team so far this year on the tour.
Well, I don't think the Brazilians can believe it. They was just taken right away from them. Brink and Reckermann have played an incredible tournament. They beat the world champions. They came out here, they played incredibly well, and they beat the #1 team on the tour this year.
Beating the #1 team on the tour this year, and very, very gracefully, Harley and Alison, still in shock, no doubt, accepting the result and thanking the crowd after what has been an enormous spectacle.